Good evening. Welcome to this regular scheduled business meeting of the Summersville City Council on this 12th day of June 2023. I'd like to welcome all of our guests tonight and get right into tonight's agenda. The first item is something unusual, Council. What I would like to do at the beginning of this meeting is amend tonight's agenda. And you have before you an amended agenda, and the item that I would like to put into the agenda is that we have previously approved a resolution for the second phase of the Webster Road sidewalk project. The rough estimates that we were working off of at the time said that the project was going to come in at about $500,000. Late Friday evening, we got the project estimate back. It was $675,000 for the second phase of that sidewalk, and that goes from about the right-hand side of the Bogus driveway up to North Street, $675,000. So therefore, the application is due Friday by 5 p.m. Thursday by 5 p.m. To the state DOH website. So what we have to do is we have to amend our resolution because our match is 20%. So instead of our match equating to $100,000, our match is now $135,000. So what I'm asking to do now is to amend the agenda and insert this item as it is in the amended agenda that you found at your place when you came in tonight. So let's entertain a motion to do so.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Council, any questions? Having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Now, back into tonight's agenda. The next item on the agenda would be the consideration of the council minutes of the meeting we held on May 22nd of 2023.
Move to approve and waive reading. Second.
Okay, council, we have a first and a second. The motion was to waive the reading. Are there any changes or amendments to those minutes as they were presented in your packet? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Did anybody sign up? No? Anybody like to make public comment? Okay, having no public comment tonight, let's move right on to the next agenda. On the next agenda item, glad to have with us tonight the president of the reformed Nicholas County Fair. So at this time, I would like to ask Michelle Underwood to come to the podium and give us an update on the Nicholas County Fair.
Good evening, gentlemen. I am proud to stand here in front of you as the Nicholas County Fair president. This community has done an outpouring of love and support for our kids, our community. I can't even begin to tell you, we have received so far over $18,000 in donations. We are way above where we ever thought we might be. I'm not the person that needs to be appreciated. It's the 15 committees that I have had volunteers come, and I have laid at each of your desk those committees and the officers. I am the president. Steve Burkholder is the vice president. We have co-treasurers, Crystal Hanks and Debbie Facemeyer, and our secretary is Annabeth Anderson, who was donated to us for a year by the city council in the city of Summersville, which we appreciate. We have meetings every 2 weeks. We started March 28th. It is now, what is this, July 12th? June 12th. And we have all parts. We just have to put them in order. We have, I've talked to the IRS today. Our 501c is still, but they said there's no reason for it not to be reapproved. We are in good standing with the Secretary of State and the Tax Department and the Bingo and Raffle Department. So I've spent, my job is to get the paperwork done and get us in good standing so this fair could happen. On Wednesday, July 19th, will be the first day of our fair. It will go for 4 nights, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Wednesday is family night, and we'll have our children's pageant because we thought, hey, that's a way to bring kids out. And the first 100 people through the gates will be free. We received a $5,000 grant from the Leprechauns, and that entire $5,000 will be used for free entrance to different crowds and different ages, as I'll talk here in a second. On Thursday night, the community asked for a gospel night. We are having that. We have a young man named Cameron Boggs who just recorded in Nashville last week, 2 weeks. And so he and the other family is the Blankenships from Charleston. They're not charging us a dime, which is impressive to me because others are. They're taking a love offering, but as the board of directors, we will take care of them for coming and doing that. Friday night, we're going to have our first responder appreciation night. At the opening of the gates, we'll have 2 fire trucks with an American flag, because I think it's important for us to show that appreciation for the jobs they do every single day. 200 people will be let in free that night. The other nights, there'll be 100 people let in free, and it's all by grant money. The cost of the fair this year is $10. That includes all the rides. The only thing it won't include is your food and the dunking booth. The dunking booth is going to be a fundraiser for the fair, and we hope to get, our logistics coordinator has talked to different coaches to help park, because we are expecting a pretty large crowd, especially on Friday and Saturday night. Saturday night on the fair opens at noon. We're having a goat show, a horse show, a livestock show, and auction. And those kids of Nicholas County that's members of the 4-H and the FAA will be able to auction off the animals that, I think it's cattle and rabbits, and that they have raised. So we're encouraging all businesses or individuals to come and support those kids, and they receive the money. And then they'll be taken to their respective home at that point. Our big entertainment for Friday night is going to be Chase Likens and the Davison Brothers. Both have a pretty good following. So
Now, you said Friday night, is that Davidson's your Saturday, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Friday night is the, what did I tell you?
Lords of Leicester.
The Lords of Leicester and C.E. Jones. They too have a pretty good following, and they came highly recommended. So we expect Friday and Saturday night to be our big nights with a lot of traffic. That's why I'm sort of here to ask that you consider that we have some of the city officers to help with traffic control, because we don't want accidents. We are having a safety meeting on Tuesday before the fair. Everybody that's staff will be trained in emergency response, how to use AEDs, clear bags will only be allowed, and we're going to wand people for entrance. I know that sounds like a little bit of an overkill, but I can't imagine a child being taken and us not being prepared. All the exhibits are back, and we went to 15 different exhibits in like the produce instead of 54. There'll be no entry fee whatsoever for any of our local or statewide. It doesn't have to be a Nicholas County run food. We have a great panel of judges, including the Department of Agriculture, and just Mandy Gerwig has worked on that. I think it's going to be a very equal fit. You know, it's going to be fun because people used to bring a can of pickles, and you could bring dill pickles, sour pickles, sweet pickles. Now it's pickles. Again, like I said, there'll be no entry fee. We have all the ribbons. Bingo has been approved, and we're having it in the dining hall where it's air conditioned, and the Rotary Club will be helping us there. We thought that would be, because there's a lot of bingo players that it would be a little better to have an air conditioned in the middle of July. I really don't have anything else to add other than you can follow us on our Facebook page. We, in the short period of time, have over 1,500 followers, and we've had over 26,000 views. I've listed my number. I am Michelle Underwood, and Steve Burkholder on the bottom page. And you can email us, which I've also listed, if you have any questions, concerns, or simply would like to or know a donor. We're still accepting those. I have to give, we have several big donors, and that's over $5,000 that they're sponsoring either a concert or a ride. So I guess I hope to see every one of you there. We do have openings on the dunking booth if any of you would like to sign up. I know the mayor's been nominated and has agreed.
Heavily.
Nominated.
I was also nominated because I.
Remember, between tonight and the fair is an election.
Well, with whoever is mayor, after tomorrow,
Yeah.
we will consider.
Okay. Hey, Michelle, let's go back to your request of the city. That's an easy request for us to respond to because obviously the park and the highway into the park is our jurisdiction. This is an event that we didn't plan for in the budget, but council, what we will do is we will provide the security they need to the extent they need it. It will be on overtime, and we'll adjust the budget as we do the carry forward for whatever that demand ends up being. But we will fulfill the obligation to make sure that those that get in and out of the fair, especially at those high traffic times late at night with elderly and whatever's coming from your events, we'll make sure that we provide on Route 19 a safe exit from the fair.
I appreciate that, and the county commission has also agreed to allow deputy coverage.
They're going to work with the interior, right?
Right.
Okay.
They're work the interior, and I certainly appreciate all the support that we have gotten from everybody.
Good.
Any questions?
The only thing I would add is great job, and I think you said it well at the beginning. Success is when it's a conglomerate of people through networks and this wonderful community. Appreciate you stepping up and being willing to do what you have done, but again, I salute everybody that's gotten involved, and it looks like it's going to be an excellent fair this year. So.
And one last thing, the Nicholas County Fair pageant is Saturday night. We'd like for you to come and support the young ladies. We have quite a beautiful field, and we'd like for you to be there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for coming.
Good job.
Okay. By the way, the fair dates were July 19th through the 22nd, right?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Okay, council, the next item on the agenda, we've got a bunch of appointments that we're going to run through here. And the first one is the appointment of Whitney Deaton to the Summersville Board of Zoning Appeals to fill the unexpired term of Dwayne Chapman. And of course, her term would expire June 30th of 2024. I asked Whitney to come tonight, just in a quick conversation with her. Didn't know if everybody was familiar, so Whitney, if you wouldn't care just to maybe step to the podium. You don't have to give a speech. If you just maybe tell us where you live and as little or as much you want to say about Whitney Deaton.
Okay.
Whitney Deaton, sorry
Yes.
about that.
I'm Whitney Deaton. I know most of you. There's a few faces that are new and not familiar as much as the others. But I've lived in Summersville my entire life, other than just a few years while I was off at college. I do live up in Starbuck on Margaret Street. I'm very involved in the community, helping out with children. I've coached, I've directed cheer coordinator with Little Bears. I teach. I recently just left Summersville Elementary School, and I'm going to Summersville Middle School this fall to teach 6th grade science. So very involved with the community. My husband is Joshua Deaton, and I have a son, Ben, that'll be a freshman at the high school this fall, and Brindley will be in 6th grade at the middle school this fall too. So
Excellent. Thank you.
thank you.
Whitney, and thank you. It's exciting when folks like you, as active as you are, and the status that you and your family carry in our community. We're just so excited when people like you are willing to get involved. So thank you. So with that said, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Whitney to this unexpired term of Dwayne
To
Chapman.
approve.
Got a whole bunch. Okay, Jerry, you pick. We got a first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Welcome, Whitney.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda would be the reappointment of Chris Neal to the Summersville Forestry Council for a 3-year term ending on June 30th of 2026.
So move.
Got a first and a second. Any discussion or questions? Chris is a reappointment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. The next item is a reappointment of Angie Walkup to the Brown Oaks Board of Directors for a three-year term ending on June 30th of 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Next item on the agenda is the reappointment of Bill Waters to the Brown Oaks Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending on June 30th of 2026.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Council, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the resolution that we added into the agenda tonight, supporting the match for Phase 2 of the Webster Road Sidewalk Project. Updated cost, $675,000 with a 20% match, $135,000 the City of Summersville. The resolution was provided with your amended agenda. Same resolution that we approved before. The only difference is the sum of the city's match went from 100 to 135. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Next item on the agenda is the recommendation from the Summersville Planning and Zoning Commission to approve and pursue annexation process and petition for the new 128-acre recreational park. Mr. Withy?
Yeah, it came from a recommendation from our commission. Surely it's really a no-brainer for us. We certainly support the park. Our city attorney, Greg Tucker, will handle the petition to the county commission, and it'll go there for the vote.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion.
So move to approve.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any questions, council? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Recorder's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Gosh, 2 in a row, I'm hot tonight, huh? Just a little report on voting, or the election. Wanted everybody to know early vote is completed. I wanted to give you some early numbers on that. Last election in 2019, we had 302 vote. This year, 212. That is a decrease of 29.8%. I've tried to think about that, and I mean, I've talked to a lot of people trying to figure it out, and I just gave up. Not really sure, why the difference, but we are running behind on the vote. So hopefully everybody will get out tomorrow and hit the polls and vote. I do have a couple of things to talk about that. We had a situation arise on Saturday. It was completely by surprise, but we had a situation occur. Once we dug into it, we have detected the issues and feel that we've got a pretty strong plan to be completely safe on it going into the vote. Today we had a meeting. We included the Secretary of State Department. We had Lee Dean, who is my representative through the Secretary of State. He included 2 other people. One that's involved in the director of all of elections in the state of West Virginia, and then the other was a legal person from the Secretary of State. What took place and what has happened is last year sometime there was some redistricting by the county, and some of those maps got switched around a little bit, and what happened was they sent cards out to individuals and changed their precincts. So in doing so, we had a gentleman show up here at this particular polling place, and he was not on the county books. Let me explain that. The county supplies us with the books for the voting. And when he came to his normal polling place, he
Gary,
would...
it was early voting, just,
Yeah, it was early.
yeah, everybody comes to the same place.
Yeah,
So,
oh, well, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
and,
So-
and just so, just to help you,
Yeah, I'm
he
sorry.
was on the books, he wasn't in the books of the ward that he
Correct.
was supposed to be.
Correct, that's
Yeah.
what it was. So he wasn't in the right ward. So when they went to do that, they couldn't find him in that ward. So that sent up the big red flag. That's when we got involved, and we got Mr. Painter involved. And he worked tirelessly on it. We had a very busy weekend, very busy day. But through the meeting, we feel we've got a fail-safe a plan in place. What we're going to do, just so everybody knows, there will be a notice that will be put up on every polling door. And I will read that notice to you. We tried to, and we just did this as late as this afternoon, so you have one of the, do you have one of those in your packets? Did anybody?
No.
Okay, they don't, okay. So that'll go up on the door. The polling folks have instructions on how to handle it. We have a list for every precinct of individuals that may come to their precinct and where they need to go. Okay? We couldn't mark those in the book today because those books are all sealed. But tomorrow morning, the workers show up at 5:30, an hour before the polls open, and they will go into those books, and they will take these sheets and they will highlight every individual that there could be an issue with. They're going to make sure that those individuals get to the correct precinct to vote. Likewise, the other precinct will have a list of the same list, and they will be anticipating those individuals coming. So that is what is going on. It shouldn't change. It will not change the wards or anything like that. But there could be a little bit. There could be a few of those people out there that may show up at a precinct and have to go to another precinct. Is that fairly clear, Robert? Did I hit it pretty good?
Is all wards in that?
Let me help Gary out a little bit. So, due to the 10-year census, the state and the counties realigned the precincts. Typically, in most scenarios, a city's wards will be aligned with precincts. But what happened is, basically a clerical error, when they realigned the precincts in our county, it realigned our wards, but we never officially took any action as a city changing our wards. So literally, just as an example, if Mr. Epling running for city council and his ward goes to vote, he's not even in his ward as a voter. He's been moved to another ward. So all of that has been rectified by our election official, Gary, working with the Secretary of State's office, and legal counsel, and everybody have been involved in this. And so in essence, what's happening is we're leaving them the way they are. So nothing changes. The only thing of it is the books that they have produced for the election officials don't necessarily have all the people in that ward that should be allowed to vote in that ward. So those people, when they show up, there's already a list. We made a mistake and put you in the wrong ward. You still get a vote. You're going to vote a provisional ballot. When we canvass the vote on the 19th, all of those votes will count. As they'll count just like they won't be counted election night, but they'll be counted during the canvass. So it very well could be, you never want a situation like this to happen because it is a clerical error. But the bulk of the error is in wards 1 and 2, which the only race that really matters in that ward, because everybody's unopposed except for the mayor. Wards 1 and 2. How many is it in the other wards, Gary? Did you have those numbers?
Yeah, 82.
Well, that's wards 1 and 2.
and 82 in one, 45 in the other, and then there's only one.
Okay,
So
so 1 and 2 wards is 82, 45 is in Ward 3, Arbuckle, and then there's 1 in Ward 4. So there is some, but when those people show up to vote, Gary's already got it set up where they got a list, and when they're not on the registry to vote, they're going to be given a provisional ballot. That ballot will count just like it would normally, except it won't be counted until June 19th when we canvass the vote. That's when it will be counted. So it very well could be, if there is a ward, like that ward that's got the 45 area in it, that's real close, we may have to wait until the 19th on provisional ballots to decide who wins any race that's contested, because there will be ballots that won't be counted until the canvassing. But Gary, working with the Secretary of State's office, has got it all set up. And even if they, by chance, so these people went to a different precinct, some of them went to a different place to vote in the last general election. This time they have to go back to the city place they went, because we didn't change our city wards. If they go to the wrong place to vote, they'll be sent to the right place to vote, a provisional ballot. He's got all those measures put in place. And plus, Gary's going to himself be up bright and early in the morning and running his wheels to all of the polls to make sure that everybody fully understands. And then rest assured, for the next city election or the next general election, all of this will be rectified, because Gary's going to dig in, as we all are, and get this all straightened out. And it might even be a time to look at potentially tweaking some of our wards where things have really slid away in Ward 2, where it's less than a 300 person ward now, where all the others are well over 300. And so it might be a time, as we go through this process, to do some serious realignment and maybe even things out through the whole city. But that's for us to decide at a later date. For this election, our election official, the city recorder's got everything set that it will be handled just like it was previously.
Want me to read this?
Yes, sir.
So the notice that I'll be putting up, or is already in place, ready to go, reads, following the 2020 census, the city precinct boundaries were adjusted to account for changes in the city's population. As a result, and due to a clerical error, the official election poll books of registered voters were just recently discovered to be inaccurate as they apply to the city wards. In consultation with the West Virginia Secretary of State's office, which oversees elections in our state, those few voters affected will be required to vote a provisional ballot. If you are one of the affected voters and you are otherwise a duly registered voter, your vote will be counted during the election canvass at Summersville City Hall on June 19th at 6 p.m. Gary Withey, City Recorder.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? No questions. Okay. Okay, Gary.
That's all I have.
Good deal. Okay, let me scoot through the mayor's report. Got a lot of stuff to cover here, council. First thing I want to tell you, it's very unfortunate, but due to some very unfortunate circumstances, the Emmett Cahill concert that was to take place at the Summersville Arena and Conference Center this Thursday has been postponed. So if you were out there and you bought tickets, the concert has been postponed, will not take place this Thursday, and I guess it's a TBA on what the future will be and when that concert will play. I want to also remind everybody that the West Virginia Quilt Festival, the annual picnic council for you, and this is the host, where they bring us in and we get to host them in their picnic prior to the festival kicking off. That takes place on June 21st at 5:30 p.m. and I hope to see you all at that picnic. And it's at the Summersville Arena and Conference Center, and that's where all of the leaders and the various people that bring that event to our city. We're glad to be the home of the West Virginia Quilt Festival. That will be that evening at 5:30 p.m. Let's see. I would also like to, we have a basketball floor committee that I previously announced that Alan Stump, Gary Withy, myself, and James Corbett would serve on. I would also like to add Ashley Waugh to that. And just to give you a little update, a contractor will be in town tomorrow to survey and get his estimate, the final tweak on his estimate. And then we're going to move full speed ahead to take up the floor, replace the floor. And this committee, what it's all about, you know, from a standpoint of the selection of the type of floor and then the design of the floor is what the committee is going to take care of. So that'll take place. Real excited, and I mean I am so excited about this. The concept paper that was filed by the City of Summersville, Department of Energy with our partners, Region 4 Planning and Development. We also brought a specialist in out of Ohio to help us get that paper through. This is on some special funding with the Department of Energy. 700 submittals came in nationwide. Of those 700 submittals, 78 were selected to actually apply for the funding, and the City of Summersville was one of the 78. 700 nationally, 78 projects selected. Now it's time we got to really step up and do our work because they're only going to select 28 for funding. So, but it's so exciting to be part of such an elite group. We are a part of the 78 that were selected to apply for the balance of, or for the funding. And of course our project is about a $14 million project, and this is for a low flow unit at the dam, at the hydro plant. In essence, the bum news is we haven't made an ounce of energy because of our drought. I'm going to call it a drought because we've had no precipitation. So in the month of June, so far, today's the 12th, we haven't made an ounce of energy. So in the interim, if we were fortunate enough to get this project pulled off, and any water release, even what we're releasing now to augment the river, we would produce some energy because it would be going through what they call a low flow unit. So this is a real exciting project, and I'm just excited to see where we can go from here. Council, as you just heard from the city election official, our city recorder, the canvassing of the votes is on June 19th at 6 p.m. right here at City Council. You need to make sure you write that down. We need you all here. You are the board of approval on the election. And then the certification of the election is going to be June 22nd at 6 p.m. here at City Council Chambers. So canvass the 19th at 6, the certification is the 22nd. If you were in this year's election and you're fortunate enough to be elected, the City of Summersville elected officials will be sworn in on June 30th at 11 a.m. at the Nicholas County Courthouse. Again, that's June 30th at 11 a.m. at the Nicholas County Courthouse. Okay. Next, I would like to tell you that today we had a passing of the guard. In the street department, Gus's retirement is quickly approaching. So today I sat down with Gus and Gus's replacement, which is Tim Hypes, and we've actually transferred the responsibility and management of the street department from Gus Rader to his replacement, Tim Hypes. I want to give you a little bit of history about Tim. Tim's been with the street department now under Gus for about 4 years. And of course, many of you probably know Tim. He's got quite a distinguished career himself, and he has really adapted well to the street department. And so as we wish Gus well in his future and retirement, we're also excited about what Tim brings to the table from the standpoint of his leadership. When the first moves up, we move a second up. So we're also excited to move Mike Bryant, who's been in the street department for 13 years. He will now be the second in the street department under Tim Hypes. And of course, we've also backfilled even Mike moving up as well. One thing I would like to do is go ahead and give out, because everybody needs to know that Gus's number will disappear. So this is the new street department manager phone number, and you can start using it tomorrow because Tim is on the button. It's 619-0644. So please do not call Gus anymore, call Tim. Council, I would also like to let you know, and I hope to see you, you are invited to Gus's retirement party, which will be July 7th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Nicholas County Veterans Memorial Park Red Barn shelter, which is all that area underneath the Red Barn. That'll be Gus's retirement party where Gus and family and many friends and well-wishers will be there to celebrate Gus's distinguished career with the city of Summersville, and it's been a long and good one. Okay, let me double check to make sure I hit everything here. And then okay, anybody have any questions of the mayor's report?
Yes, just quickly, you, on the new addition to the sidewalk, that's from the Burgess House to United Bank?
No, did I say United Bank? I meant to say,
I'm
no.
not sure.
Oh, no, I meant to say North Street.
North Street?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's from the right side of their driveway to North Street. The first phase is from Grove Street to the left side of their driveway.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to go to bid, won't see construction until the spring, but to bid in the fall. And right now where we're at on the first phase is we're getting ready to move 2 telephone poles and a water line. And that has to be done before we can go to bid in the fall. So that's what's on the horizon with that right now.
Got it.
Yeah, but literally you'll be able to go sidewalk from Grove Street all the way to North Street. Then of course, the next year we'll file for the next phase that'll take us around the bend. The idea is ultimately that we want to connect all of it to Merchants Walk. And then right now what our plug is to get us to the entrance of the park, which is right down there by Big Lots. So the next phase will take us from North Street to the entrance of the new recreational park.
Got it.
Okay, council, any other questions? Okay, hearing none, are there any council comments?
Just on Gus Rader, phenomenal individual, did a lot of great work for many years for the city. I remember him as a young man when he worked for my dad way back in the day. And we're gonna miss him, but we got good guys with Tim and Mike following up. Gus is awesome. He's great. Anytime there's ever been an issue that I've ever dealt with, I've seen him in action, he was always there. So I hope everybody can make it to his retirement, because I think he's just big shoes to fill, but our guys can do it. Thanks a lot to Gus Rader.
Absolutely. And, his success is that, he's put the right people in place on his team that will step up, and we will miss Gus, big teddy bear Gus. That's what he's like, is a big teddy bear. But yes, we've got the, he's helped put the pieces in place to ensure that we don't miss a beat. So thanks for those comments. Okay, anything else?
Mayor, I'd like to say a big thank you to Gary Withy and also County Clerk Bobby Painter for all the work they did over the weekend for this election stuff. It's not all about meetings and office hours, and this thing happened over the weekend, and I know it caused a lot of angst among several people, and I'm pleased that it worked out. Also, I think it's a great example of cooperation between the county and the state and the city. So,
Amen.
so
Thank you.
it worked out good.
Good deal. Okay, anything else? All right, hearing none, council, I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session, as I got a couple of things that I need to review with you in executive session. Got a first and a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. We'll give about 5 minutes. Thank you all. Thanks.